Well, for this video, I'm going to show you how to take your data table and your two graphs and put it on your Google Slides. But before I do, I want to show you where your Google Slides are. So in your Google Classroom, let's go there. You're going to go to Classwork. You're going to scroll down under Water Cycle, and the very first entry says WC, which is Water Cycle Google Slides. Now, these Google Slides are everybody's Google Slides, and you do not have permission. You do not have permission to go on anybody else's slide and make any changes. Now, everybody's slides are in here, so you need to be consciously aware of what you're doing and if you're deleting things or moving things, because people are going to get very irritated with you if I have to go back in history and that will delete what they have done and they have to redo it. Okay? I can find out who made the changes or made the deletes. It's very easy. And I don't want to call you on the carpet. And I don't want to give you consequences because you purposefully or inadvertently, by mistake, messed up somebody's slide. So please be aware. You're going to click on the Google Slides and it's going to open. Now I have made a lot of changes to the slides since you were last in. It has become a very huge slide deck. Every team has a boatload of slides, and I'm just going to give you an example. So for this group, Olivia's group, they have the first three slides that they've already created. They've already done this. May not be perfect yet, but that's okay. We've got the first slide. We've got the second slide, which is the experimental design, and then we have the procedure. The next slide, it says insert your data table on this page and delete this box. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. The next one's going to be a graph of your trial data. The next is going to be a graph of your average data. That's what we're going to work on in this video. But I have added other links that are other slides we're going to work on next after graphs. So I have an analysis graph. You're going to keep the title, but you're going to get rid of the hello and you're going to type your analysis there. I have a conclusion slide. I'm going to tell you all about analysis and conclusion. You're going to type it in where it says hello. You'll get rid of hello and type it there. You're going to tell me what you learned. Each member of your team has to type their name and tell me something they learned, either about the water cycle or doing an experiment. And then the last one is a model of your water cycle process. I'll tell you the expectation there. Each team should have those slides. I double checked last night before anybody got on there. Okay? These slides are what you had last time. I didn't change anything except adding the slides. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate what to do. I'm going to go to the slide that says insert your data table on this page and delete the box. So I'm going to open that up. I am going to go to my Google Sheets. Remember, your data is different than mine because my experiment was what's the effect of fertilizer on plant height. Has nothing to do with the water cycle. All right, I'm going to highlight from condition down to the end of my averages. I don't want to highlight anything else. I don't want to highlight any boxes above, below, or to the left or to the right because it's going to make your slide look terrible. Okay, so if you highlight incorrect, click out, click in the box that says condition, and then drag until you're in the box of the last average number and let go. Now you're going to copy this. You can do it two ways. You can do edit copy, your call, or you can, I have a mouse and I like a mouse instead of my Chromebook. I can do right click on my mouse and hit copy. So either copy is fine. You'll know what you're copying because you've got dashed or dotted lines around it. So it's highlighted and it's dashed around what I'm copying. As long as it's what you want, great. If that's not what you want, then click out of it and maybe click out of it a couple times. The dashes are not going away. Okay. So you can click and re-highlight and recopy as many times as you need to get what you want. Then I'm going to go back to Google Slides. I'm going to make sure I'm on that slide, and I'm going to paste. And I can either edit paste here with just paste, or I can right click on the slide and hit paste. Just plain old paste. Now it says, do you want me to keep this linked to the spreadsheet? And your answer is yes. So keep that toggle on and hit paste. Magic, my data table comes in. Wrong place, too small, but I'm going to click on it so I can get these the X, and I'm going to drag it to the middle. I'm going to go up and I'm going to get rid of this box. Now, this is too small. Okay? I'm going to click on it so it's highlighted, and I'm going to stretch the corner so it's all relative to each other. And I'm going to move it so it's a little bigger. Okay? I want it to fill the box, but I don't want it to go to the edges, because sometimes when we project this, it'll cut it off. Now this text font size is way too small. So I'm going to highlight all of this, and I want to try to get the text font size to 20. Okay, so I'm going to try. Not too bad. It's bad if I'm cutting words off and there's lots of space. Now this isn't quite so pretty, so I'm going to see if I can make it a little prettier. So I'm going to make my cursor go on this line here, and I'm going to push it up, and I'm going to push this one up, and I'm going to push this one up. Apparently I'm not. Well, there we go. I can push that one up a little bit. Now that looks like a professional data table. Okay? It brought in the bolds on my first row. It brought in my bolds in the first column. It centered all of my data. Everything is spelled correctly. Okay? So as long as my data table in my Google Sheet was correct, it will come in correctly here. If you notice a change here that's misspelled, go back to your sheet, change it here, and then we can update it in this little area here. Okay? All right, I'm going to go in my Google slide to the next slide. It says insert your graph of your data on this page and delete the text. So I'm going to go back to my Google Sheets. I want the data that has all the trials. I'm going to click it once, and I'm either going to go into Edit Copy, or I'm going to right click on my mouse, and apparently not. Okay, so I'm going to go Edit Copy, and I'm going to click back into my Google Slides, and I'm on the right slide, and I'm going to click in it, and I'm going to hit Edit Paste. Yes, I want to keep it linked. Paste it. I've got a beautiful graph. So I'm going to delete the text. I'm going to click on the graph, and I'm going to stretch it a little bit and see what happens. And then I'm going to move it so it's centered. Okay. If I click off of it, it looks pretty good. Everything's capitalized. Again, if something's misspelled or not capitalized, you're going to fix it in your data table. It'll automatically update it in your graph, and then we'll just hit the refresh here, and it'll refresh it here. We're going to go to the next slide here, and we're going to go back to our sheets. We're going to click on our average graph. We're going to either Control C as copy. Right click sometimes is copy. It is not there. So we're going to either hit Control C or Edit Copy. We're going to go back into our graphs. We're going to make sure we're on the right slide, and you're going to paste it. Control V or paste. Yes, I want to keep the link to the spreadsheet. Look at that. I'm going to click on the text box and delete it. I'm going to stretch it. I'm going to center it. Looks beautiful. Okay. I will make a video of instructions for analysis and conclusion. There is also a handout for that. I also have a handout that is the rubric on how I'm going to grade your data table and your two graphs. Make sure you get a copy of those.